The unexpected arrival. The patrol ship Silverwing drifted through the quiet sector at the edge of Council space. Captain Vex sat in his command chair, his forearms resting on different control panels. This region had been peaceful for 300 years. Nothing ever happened here. "Captain, I'm detecting something," his sensor officer said. The young officer's blue skin turned pale. "Something big." Vex straightened in his chair. "Define big." "Bigger than anything in our database, sir. It just appeared. No jump signature, no warp trail. It's just there." The main screen flickered to life. What Vex saw made his heart stop beating for a moment. A ship hung in space before them, but calling it a ship seemed wrong. It was a mountain of metal, a fortress among the stars. Dark gray armor plating covered its hull, broken only by weapon ports that could swallow the Silverwing whole. "Distance?" Vex asked, his voice barely steady. 50,000 units and closing slowly, sir. "It's moving at sublight speed." The tactical officer spoke up, his voice shaking. "Captain, I'm counting over 200 weapon systems. Energy readings are impossible. Our computers can't even process the power output." Vex forced himself to remain calm. In his 40 years of service, he had never seen anything like this. The Council's biggest dreadnought was maybe a fifth of this monster's size. "Open a channel." All frequencies, the communication panel lit up. Vex cleared his throat. "Unknown vessel. This is Captain Vex of the Galactic Council patrol ship Silverwing. You have entered Council space. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." Silence stretched for long seconds. Then the speakers crackled. "This is Commander James of the Earth ship Thunder Mountain. We come in peace. We seek dialogue with your Galactic Council." The words came through distorted. The universal translator struggled, clicking and whirring as it tried to decode the alien language. Some words came through clear, others remained mysterious sounds. "Earth?" Vex's navigator whispered. "There's no planet called Earth in any star chart." Vex muted his microphone. "Send an emergency message to Council Command. Priority 1. Tell them we've made first contact with an unknown species." He unmuted the channel. "Commander James, please hold your position. I am contacting my superiors to arrange proper diplomatic protocols." "Understood, Captain Vex. We will maintain current position and heading. Please know we mean no harm to your people." The sensor officer gasped. "Captain, more detailed scans coming in. The armor on that ship, it's 12 meters thick. Solid neutronium-enhanced composite. That's impossible to manufacture." "Their reactor signatures?" Vex asked. "I don't understand what I'm seeing, sir." "The energy patterns suggest they're using contained antimatter. Hundreds of antimatter reactors. The Council banned that technology as too dangerous 5,000 years ago." A new voice interrupted them. "Captain Vex, this is Admiral Kell from Council Command. We're receiving your data feed. Keep that ship talking. Do not take any aggressive action. Half the fleet is on its way." Vex felt sweat running down his neck. Half the fleet? For one ship? Then again, looking at the monster on his screen, half might not be enough. "Commander James," Vex said, reopening the channel. "The Council is very interested in meeting with you. May I ask, how many ships have you brought with you?" "Just the Thunder Mountain for now, Captain. We didn't want to alarm anyone by bringing the whole fleet." "The whole fleet." The word sent ice through Vex's veins. "How many ships does Earth have, Commander?" A pause. 52 Titan-class warships like this one. About 300 smaller vessels." "Why do you ask?" The bridge went silent. 52 ships like this monster? The Council's entire navy had only 200 ships total, and most were smaller than this one vessel. "Sir," the tactical officer said quietly, "I'm detecting something else. The Thunder Mountain has been scanning us since we started talking. But not just us. They're scanning every ship station and defense platform within 10 light years. Their sensor range is..." "Impossible," Vex finished. "Yes, I'm starting to see a pattern." The emergency lights on the bridge began flashing. Council Command was declaring a full alert. Every ship in the Navy would be racing here. The ancient Galactic Council, protectors of 12 species and 1,000 worlds, had just met something that made them feel very, very small, and it was still coming closer. The Council's fear, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had not seen such chaos in 1,000 years. Representatives from all 12 member species filled the vast circular hall, their voices mixing into a storm of different languages. The universal translators struggled to keep up with the rapid, panicked conversations. Council Leader Prime stood at the center platform, his ancient body supported by a mechanical frame. At 800 years old, he had seen many crises, but nothing like this. "Order," he commanded, his voice amplified across the chamber. "We will have order." The noise slowly died down. All eyes turned to the main display, where Admiral Kell stood ready to give his report. The old warrior's face showed something no one had seen before: genuine fear. "Honored representatives," Admiral Kell began. 3 hours ago, we made first contact with a species calling themselves humans from a planet called Earth. What I'm about to show you may be disturbing." The holographic display came alive. The image of the Thunder Mountain appeared in the center of the chamber, rotating slowly. Gasps echoed from every section. "This ship is 15 kilometers long, 5 kilometers wide, and 3 kilometers tall," Admiral Kell continued. "For comparison, our largest dreadnought, the Pride of Worlds, is 3 kilometers long." Representative Tar from the Morvac Federation stood up. "Surely this is some kind of trick. No species could build something so massive." "It's no trick," Admiral Kell said grimly. "We've confirmed it with 40 different sensor arrays. But the size is not the real problem. Look at these power readings." New data flooded the display. Energy output charts, weapon counts, shield frequencies. The numbers kept climbing until they stopped making sense. Their main reactor produces more energy than our newest space station. They have 218 weapon systems that we can detect. There may be more hidden. Their shield— Admiral Kell paused. "Their shields could take a direct hit from a star-going supernova." The chamber erupted again. Representatives shouted over each other, some calling for immediate military action, others for evacuation of border worlds. Through the noise, a calm voice spoke from the communication panel. "Honored Council, this is Ambassador Ray from the Earthship Thunder Mountain. I request permission to address your assembly." Silence fell like a hammer. Council Leader Prime looked around the chamber, seeing fear in every face. "Permission granted, Ambassador Ray. Please understand your arrival has surprised us." "I understand completely." Ray's voice was warm, friendly even. The translator handled his words better now, learning the patterns. "We've been monitoring your communications. I know you're afraid. That's why I'd like to propose something. Let me come aboard your station. Alone, unarmed, we can talk face to face." "Absolutely not." General Rock of the Warrior Caste stood up. "This could be an invasion tactic. One of them inside our station could—" "General," Ray interrupted gently. "If we wanted to invade, would we announce ourselves? Would we come with one ship and ask to talk? Look at your own scans. We could have destroyed your patrol ship before they even knew we were there. But we didn't." The logic was undeniable. "And terrifying?" "He's right," said Ambassador Vell, the Council's chief diplomat. "They chose to reveal themselves. They chose to talk. We should listen." Council Leader Prime raised his hand for silence. "Ambassador Ray, we need time to discuss this."
"Can you wait?"
"Of course. We've waited 50 years to make contact. We can wait a few more hours." The channel closed. 50 years? Representative Tar's scales turned white. "They've been watching us for 50 years? Admiral Kell nodded slowly. "If their sensor technology is as advanced as it appears, they could have been studying us from outside our detection range, learning our languages, our defenses, our weaknesses. Then why reveal themselves now?" Council Leader Prime asked the question everyone was thinking. "Maybe," Admiral Kell said quietly. "Something changed, something that made them decide it was time." General Rock slammed his fist on his console. "We should strike first. They're vulnerable, just one ship. One ship that could destroy our entire fleet." Admiral Kell cut him off. "I've run the combat simulations 12 times. Even if we brought every ship we have, our chance of victory is 0. The word hung in the air like poison. "There's something else," Admiral Kell added. "The Thunder Mountain hasn't raised its shields. Its weapons are powered down. It's approaching at sublight speed when it clearly has faster capabilities. Every action they've taken suggests—" "They're not trying to scare us," Council Leader Prime finished. "They're trying very hard not to scare us." "And failing," someone muttered from the crowd. A younger representative, Dal from the Science Union, stood up. "What if we're looking at this wrong? What if they really do come in peace? A species this powerful, they could teach us so much. Or conquer us without firing a shot," General Rock growled. Council Leader Prime looked at the image of the massive ship. In 8 centuries of life, he had made countless decisions, but none carried the weight of this one. Make the wrong choice and the Council might not survive to regret it. We'll vote, he announced. All in favor of allowing Ambassador Ray aboard? Hands raised slowly across the chamber. First a few, then more. The count was close. Motion carries, Prime announced. Ambassador Vell, prepare a diplomatic reception. General Rock, have security teams ready, but keep them hidden. We'll meet these humans. He looked once more at the ship on the display, and pray to whatever gods we believe in that they really do come in peace. The demonstration Ambassador Ray stood in the center of the council chamber, and every representative forgot how to breathe. The human was impossible. He stood 3 meters tall with shoulders that seemed carved from stone. His skin was a warm brown, his hair cut short and black. But it was his eyes that held them, sharp, intelligent, and disturbingly predatory. When he smiled, they glimpsed teeth designed for tearing meat. Thank you for receiving me, Ray said, his voice carrying easily through the massive chamber without amplification. I know my appearance might be unsettling. You're a giant, Representative Tar said bluntly. Your species are giants, Ray chuckled, a sound like distant thunder. Actually, I'm average height for a human male. Captain Tom, who commands the Thunder Mountain, is taller. The implication sent whispers through the crowd. If this monster was average, Council Leader Prime cleared his throat. Ambassador Ray, you said you come in peace, but your ship's capabilities suggest otherwise. I understand your concern, Ray nodded. That's why I'd like to propose a demonstration. Let us show you what we can do in a controlled environment. No surprises, no threats. Just honest display. General Rock stood up. This could be a trap. General, Ray turned to face him. The movement was fluid, predatory. Every military representative in the room recognized it. This creature was built for war. If we wanted to trap you, would we need tricks? Your own scans tell you what we're capable of. The brutal honesty silenced the general. There's a dead moon in this system, Ray continued. Karis 5, according to your star charts. No life, no value. Let us use it for target practice. You can watch from a safe distance. After an hour of heated debate, the council agreed. 50 ships formed an observation fleet, keeping what they thought was a safe distance from the dead moon. The Thunder Mountain positioned itself on the opposite side. This is Captain Tom. A new voice came through the speakers. Deeper than Ray's, it made the deck plates vibrate slightly. We'll start with our smallest weapons. Please observe. A thin blue beam shot from the Thunder Mountain. Where it touched the moon's surface, a crater 50 kilometers wide instantly appeared. The solid rock didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist. That was our point defense laser, Captain Tom explained casually. We have 96 of those. They're designed to shoot down missiles. The council representatives sat in stunned silence. Their most powerful ground bombardment weapons couldn't make a crater half that size. Now, a medium weapon. Please watch the moon's northern pole. This time, a golden projectile launched from the ship. It moved so fast the sensors almost couldn't track it. When it hit the moon, the entire northern hemisphere cracked like an egg. Continent-sized chunks of rock drifted into space. Kinetic kill vehicle, Captain Tom said. Simple technology. We accelerate a tungsten rod to 70% light speed. Very effective against shields. Admiral Kell's voice was weak. Captain Tom, that weapon could crack a planet's crust. Only a small planet, Tom replied, as if that made it better. Now would you like to see the main gun? Wait, Council Leader Prime said quickly. Captain, what power setting have you been using? 10% for the laser, 20% for the kinetic weapon. The bridge of every observing ship went silent. Captain, Prime continued carefully, what happens at 100%? Well, we've never tested the main gun at full power. The math suggests it would destabilize a star. Shall we continue with the demonstration? Please, Prime managed to say. Main gun 10% power, targeting what's left of the moon. The Thunder Mountain seemed to inhale. Energy readings across every ship spiked beyond measurement. A weapon port opened along the ship's spine, revealing a barrel that glowed with contained power. Then it fired. There was no beam, no projectile. Reality simply broke. Where the moon had been, space itself seemed to twist and scream. Then nothing. The moon was gone. Not destroyed, not scattered, gone. Only a cloud of subatomic particles remained. Gravitational pulse cannon, Captain Tom explained. It creates a localized black hole for about a nanosecond. Very clean, no debris. Representative Dal from the Science Union fainted. Now, Captain Tom continued, let's talk about defense. Admiral Kell, would you please fire your strongest weapon at us? Don't worry, we'll be fine. Admiral Kell looked at Council Leader Prime, who nodded slowly. All ships, Kell commanded. Target the Thunder Mountain. Quantum torpedoes, maximum yield. Fire on my mark. 200 torpedoes launched simultaneously, each capable of devastating a city. They streaked toward the human ship. A blue shimmer appeared around the Thunder Mountain. The torpedoes hit and disappeared. Not exploded, not deflected. They simply stopped existing. Dimensional shield, Captain Tom said, shifts incoming attacks into a parallel dimension. Very energy efficient. General Rock's voice was hollow. How many ships like yours does Earth have? 52 Titan class. Though to be honest, the Thunder Mountain is one of our older models. The newer ones are about twice this size. Twice? Someone squeaked. Yes, we've made significant improvements in the last 10 years. Would you like to see our fighter craft? We carry 3,000 of them. No, Council Leader Prime said quickly. No, that's quite enough demonstration, Captain Tom. I understand. Ambassador Ray has one more thing to show you back on your station. Ray stood up in the council chamber. I need to show you something about human physiology, may I? Without waiting for an answer, he pulled a knife from his boot. Security had scanned him and found no weapons, but somehow he had one. Before anyone could react, he drove it through his own hand. Gasps and screams filled the chamber. Green blood, no, red blood, poured from the wound. Ray pulled the knife out and held up his hand. As they watched, the wound began to close. Within 30 seconds, only a faint line remained. We heal fast, Ray said simply. We can survive injuries that would kill most species. We can go weeks without food, days without water. We breathe toxic gases, swim in acid, and survive radiation that would cook most of you. He paused, looking around the chamber. We evolved on a death world. Every day on Earth is a struggle to survive. It made us strong. It made us tough. And it made us very, very good at war. The silence was deafening. But, Ray continued, his voice gentler now, it also taught us the value of peace. We've had too much war. That's why we're here. Not to conquer, but to talk. Council Leader Prime found his voice. Why show us all this? Why terrify us? Because, Captain Tom's voice came through the speakers, something is coming. Something that scares even us. And when it gets here, you'll need our help. The temperature in the chamber seemed to drop. What's coming? Prime asked. We'll explain everything, Ray said. But first we need to know, will you accept us as friends? Or should we face what's coming alone? The council had no choice, and everyone knew it. These humans could destroy them in minutes. But they were offering friendship instead. It was the easiest and hardest decision they'd ever make. The truth about humanity. The council's private meeting room had never felt smaller. Ambassador Ray sat at a table designed for beings half his size, making the furniture look like children's toys. Across from him sat the council's leadership, Prime, Admiral Kell, General Rock, Ambassador Vell, and Chief Scientist Dal. You want to know our story? Ray began, pulling out a small device. A hologram of a blue-green planet appeared above the table. This is Earth, beautiful, isn't it? They nodded, mesmerized by the swirling clouds and vast oceans. It's also one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. Our gravity is 3 times what you consider normal. Our weather includes storms that can rip cities apart. Our oceans are filled with creatures that eat metal. And that's not even mentioning the humans. What do you mean? Dal asked. Ray smiled sadly. We've been killing each other since we learned to pick up rocks. Our history is written in blood. 10,000 years of war, genocide, conquest. We had split the atom before we had global communication. We built weapons that could end our world before we built ships to leave it. The hologram changed, showing images of human history. Cities in flames, mushroom clouds, mass graves. By the year 2100, we'd nearly destroyed ourselves 4 times. Nuclear war, biological weapons, climate collapse, artificial intelligence rebellion. Each time we survived by becoming harder, stronger, more adaptable. That's horrible, Ambassador Vell whispered. Yes, Ray agreed. But it also prepared us. When we finally reached space, we were ready for anything, because we'd already faced everything. General Rock leaned forward. When did you achieve spaceflight? 2057 for basic orbital craft, 2150 for interstellar capability. We discovered jump drive technology in 2198. Admiral Kell's eyes widened. That's only 200 years ago. We've been spacefaring for 6,000 years. Yes, Ray nodded. But you had peace to guide your development. We had war. Every technology you developed for exploration, we developed for survival. Your engines move ships. Ours were designed to move battle fleets. Your shields protect from asteroids. Ours protect from antimatter bombs. The hologram changed again, showing the construction of the first Titan-class ship. The Thunder Mountain was built in 2241. It took us 5 years and the resources of 3 planets. We thought it was the ultimate achievement. Ray chuckled. Then we built 51 more in the next decade. How? Dal asked, his scientific mind reeling. The resources alone. We strip mine dead worlds. We harvest gas giants. We've turned 3 solar systems into factory complexes. When humans commit to something, we don't do it halfway. Council Leader Prime had been silent, but now he spoke. You said you've been watching us for 50 years. Why? Ray's expression grew serious. We detected your communication signals in 2270. At first, we were excited. Other life. We weren't alone. Then we started learning about you. 12 species living in harmony. No major wars for 1,000 years. Diplomatic solutions to every conflict. He paused. We were terrified. Terrified? Prime asked. Of us? Not of your weapons. Of what you'd think of us. We're a warrior species in a galaxy of philosophers. We're children compared to you, but we have weapons that could end civilizations. We were afraid you'd see us as monsters, so why reveal yourselves now? Ray stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. The floor shook slightly with each step. Show them the Detroit incident, he said. The hologram shifted. A human city appeared. Then something else. A massive ship different from human design, black and angular. 3 years ago, this ship appeared in Earth orbit. It scanned our defenses, then left. We tracked it. It wasn't from your space. It was from beyond the galactic edge. The image zoomed out, showing the galaxy. Then beyond it, into the void between galaxies, red dots began appearing. We sent stealth probes. What we found, Ray turned back to them. There's an invasion fleet coming. Thousands of ships. They'll reach Council space in 18 months. The room went cold. You came to warn us, Prime said softly. We came to protect you, Ray corrected. These beings, whoever they are, they're aggressors. They're what humans used to be, conquerors. And there's only one thing that stops conquerors. Bigger conquerors, General Rock said, understanding dawning on his face. Or, Ray said, defenders with bigger guns. Admiral Kell stood up. How do you know they're hostile? We intercepted their communications. They speak of harvest, of culling. They've done this before to other galaxies. Ray's expression hardened. They're coming to feed. And you think you can stop them? Alone? Maybe. Our projections give us a 60% chance of victory. But the cost? Ray shook his head. We'd lose half our fleet. Billions would die. So you want our help? Prime asked. Ray laughed, a sound without humor. No, honored Prime, we don't need your help to fight. We need your help to not become monsters. The confusion was evident on every face. We know how to win wars, Ray explained. We're very, very good at it. But we're trying to be better. To be more than weapons. We've watched your council for 50 years. You've mastered something we never could. Peace, unity, cooperation without conquest. He returned to the table, sitting down carefully in the too small chair. We'll fight this enemy. We'll win. But afterward, we need you to teach us how to not be what we were, how to be what you are. Ambassador Vell spoke softly. You're asking us to civilize you? We're asking you to save us from ourselves, Ray admitted. Because after we destroy this threat, we'll have no enemy left to fight. And a warrior without a war, he trailed off, becomes a conqueror, General Rock finished, or learns to be something else. Yes. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just offering protection. They were offering to put their terrible power under council guidance, to trade their strength for wisdom. There's something else, Ray added. The Thunder Mountain isn't just a warship. It's also carrying something, a gift to prove our intentions. He touched his device. New holograms appeared. Technical schematics, medical data, agricultural information. Cures for every disease in your database. Crops that can feed a planet from a single farm. Energy systems that could power your worlds for millennia. We're not just bringing weapons. We're bringing everything we've learned from our struggles. Dal was crying. He didn't try to hide it. You're giving us centuries of advancement. We're giving you what we wish someone had given us, Ray said. A chance to skip the horror and go straight to the progress. Council Leader Prime stood slowly, his ancient frame trembling. Ambassador Ray, I've lived for 800 years. I've seen the rise and fall of civilizations, but I've never seen anything like humanity. He paused. You terrify me. All of you. You're everything we fear, powerful, violent, unpredictable, but you're also, he struggled for words, you're also magnificent. To climb so high from such darkness, to choose peace when you could choose conquest. Ray stood as well, towering over the ancient leader. So? The human asked. What is the council's decision? Prime looked at the others. One by one they nodded. Welcome to the Galactic Council, humanity. May we learn from each other. Ray smiled, and for the first time it didn't look predatory. It looked hopeful. Thank you. Now we should probably talk about fleet deployment. Those invaders will be here sooner than you think, and we have a lot of work to do. The new alliance, the council chamber, had been transformed into a war room. Holographic displays filled the space, showing star charts, fleet positions, and the approaching threat. Ambassador Ray stood beside Council Leader Prime, while Captain Tom commanded from the Thunder Mountain via hologram. The vote is unanimous, Prime announced to the assembled representatives. Humanity is granted full membership in the Galactic Council, effective immediately. The chamber erupted in applause, though tinged with nervous energy. They all knew this alliance was born of necessity. However, Ray said, raising his hand, we have conditions. The applause died. First, human military forces will remain under human command. We'll coordinate with you, but we won't be controlled by committee. When the fighting starts, reaction time matters. General Rock nodded. Agreed. Your combat experience exceeds ours. Second, Ray continued, we'll share defensive technology only. Shields, medical systems, agriculture. No weapons technology until after this threat is dealt with. Why? Representative Tar asked. Because, Captain Tom's hologram spoke. You're not ready for our weapons. You haven't earned them through blood like we have. Giving them to you now would be like giving nuclear bombs to children. The harsh words stung, but no one argued. Third, Ray said, after this war, humanity wants a permanent seat on the Security Council. We'll be your shield, but we want a voice in when that shield is used. All reasonable terms, Prime said. We accept. Ray nodded, then touched his communication device. Captain Tom, bring them in. Every sensor in council space screamed alert simultaneously. Jump points opened throughout the system, 20 of them. From each emerged a Titan-class warship. Everyone as massive and terrifying as the Thunder Mountain. Dear gods, Admiral Kell whispered. It's a full invasion fleet. No, Ray corrected. It's a defensive fleet. The Hammer of Earth, Sword of Mars, Shield of Luna, Spear of Jupiter. He listed each ship's name with pride. 21 Titans ready to defend council space. Captain Tom's hologram turned to the tactical display. Now let me show you what we're really facing. The display zoomed out past council space, past the galactic edge, into the void. The red dots Ray had shown them before appeared again, but now with detail. Ships, thousands of them, each marked with energy readings and classifications. The Devourers, Tom said. That's what the translated intercepts call them. They're from the Andromeda Galaxy, or what's left of it. They consumed their own galaxy and now they're looking for new feeding grounds. Feeding grounds? Dal asked weakly. They harvest biological life for energy, entire planets stripped of every living cell. They've done this to 6 galaxies that we can detect. The display showed the invasion fleet's composition. 3 huge command ships, each twice the size of a Titan. Hundreds of harvester vessels. Thousands of fighter craft. When will they arrive? Prime asked. 16 months at their current speed, Tom replied. But here's the interesting part. They don't know we're here. Humanity, I mean. They've been scanning council space for 100 years, but we've only been here for 3. They're expecting to fight the council fleet. They're not expecting us. A new human appeared on the hologram, a woman with short gray hair and scars across her face. I'm Admiral Stone, commanding the Earth Defense Fleet. We've been running simulations. With council forces alone, the Devourers win in 3 days. With our fleet added, we win in 6 hours. 6 hours? General Rock couldn't hide his amazement. We'll hit them at the edge of the system, Admiral Stone explained. Before they can disperse. Concentrated firepower on their command ships. Once those fall, the rest become disorganized. Then it's just cleanup. What about council forces? Admiral Kell asked. What's our role? Evacuation and rescue, Stone said bluntly. Your ships aren't built for this kind of fight. but they're perfect for moving civilians away from danger zones and picking up escape pods. It was humbling, being told their mighty fleet was only good for rescue work, but looking at the human ships, no one argued. "There's something else," Ray said. "Captain Tom, show them the deep scan." The display changed, showing space beyond the Devourer fleet. More red dots appeared, then more, and more. "That's not the invasion fleet," Tom said quietly. "That's just their scout force. The real fleet is 10 times larger, following about 5 years behind." The chamber fell into stunned silence. Prime's voice was barely a whisper. "Can you stop them all?" "Not alone," Admiral Stone admitted. 21 Titans can stop the scouts. But the main fleet? We'd need every human ship, and even then. "So what do we do?" Ambassador Vell asked. Ray smiled. "We teach you to fight. 5 years is enough time to upgrade council ships with our shields, to train your crews in combat tactics, to build defense platforms around every inhabited world. And," Captain Tom added, "we're calling in the rest of humanity's fleet, all 52 Titans, 300 escort ships, the entire Mars defense grid which we can make mobile." "You're bringing everything?" Prime asked. "Everything," Ray confirmed. "Earth will be defenseless, but Earth isn't the target, you are. And humans have a saying, 'The best defense is a good offense.'" General Rock stood up. "What do you need from us?" "Resources," Admiral Stone said. "Raw materials for ammunition, deuterium for fuel, food for crews. We'll provide the technology and training. You provide the support. And after?" Prime asked. "When we've won?" Ray and Tom exchanged glances through the hologram. "After," Ray said, "we learn to be something other than warriors. And you learn that sometimes having warriors as friends isn't such a bad thing." Dal raised his hand. "I have a question. You said the Devourers have been doing this for millions of years, consuming galaxy after galaxy. Why do you think we can stop them?" Captain Tom laughed, a sound like rolling thunder. "Because they've never fought humans before. They've conquered peaceful civilizations, absorbed defenseless worlds, but they've never faced a species that turned war into an art form. More importantly," Ray added, "they fight to consume. We fight to protect. That makes us stronger." Prime looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. Each face showed the same mixture of fear and hope. "Then we have work to do," he announced. "Admiral Kell, coordinate with Admiral Stone on fleet integration. General Rock, begin evacuation plans for border worlds. Ambassador Vell, draft a treaty making this alliance permanent." He turned to Ray. "And Ambassador, welcome to the council. May this be the beginning of a long friendship." Ray shook Prime's hand carefully, mindful of his strength. "Thank you. Now let's get ready to show these Devourers what happens when they threaten our friends." 6 weeks later, the observation deck of Council Station Prime was packed. Every representative, military officer, and citizen who could fit had come to watch. Outside, the human fleet conducted training maneuvers. 52 Titan-class warships moved in perfect formation, their massive hulls blotting out stars. Around them, 300 smaller ships, though smaller was relative when each was the size of a council cruiser, wove complex patterns. The Mars defense grid, a structure the size of a small moon, hung in the distance like a metallic spider web. "It's beautiful," Ambassador Vell said softly. "Terrifying, but beautiful." Ray stood beside him, now wearing a council diplomatic sash across his massive frame. "Wait until you see them fight. This is just practice." A young council aide approached, nervous. "Ambassador Ray, we've received a transmission from Earth." Ray took the communication pad, read it, and smiled. "Tell Captain Tom the Genesis fleet is complete." "Genesis fleet?" Prime asked. "Our gift to the council," Ray explained. 20 new ships built with hybrid technology. Human weapons, council life support systems, ships your people can actually crew. They'll be here in 3 months. You're giving us warships? We're giving you the ability to defend yourselves. After we stop the Devourers, there might be other threats. You shouldn't always depend on us." Prime looked at the human fleet again. "You really mean it, don't you? You want to protect us?" "We've been alone in the dark for so long," Ray said quietly. "Fighting ourselves, hating ourselves, nearly destroying ourselves. Now we've found others who chose a different path. A better path," he turned to Prime. "You asked me once why we revealed ourselves. The truth is we were lonely. And scared. Scared that we were the only ones out here. That violence was all there was. But you showed us something different. You showed us peace was possible. And you showed us that peace sometimes needs protection," Prime replied. An alarm chimed. Admiral Stone's face appeared on every screen. Long-range sensors have detected movement. The Devourer scout fleet has increased speed. New arrival time, 8 months. The mood shifted instantly. Training became preparation. Practice became readiness. Ray looked at the assembled crowd. Don't look so worried. You have humans protecting you now. Someone in the back shouted, "That's what worries us." The laughter that followed was nervous but genuine. Captain Tom's voice echoed across the station. "All ships, this is Fleet Command. Training phase complete. Begin war preparations. In 8 months, we remind the universe why Earth children check under their beds for monsters. Because the real monsters learn to fear humans first." The Titan-class ships fired their engines in unison, a display of power that shook the entire station. Council Leader Prime watched them maneuver and felt something he hadn't experienced in his 800 years. Hope mixed with terror. The humans were monsters, yes, but they were their monsters now, and when the Devourers arrived, they would learn what the Council had learned. There were no greater warriors in the universe than those who had conquered themselves. The alliance was formed. The fleet was ready. The war for the galaxy's survival would begin in 8 months. But today, for the first time in 50 years, humanity wasn't alone. And neither was the Council.